What if I told you you share at least one trait with an Olympic champion, with a world record holder? You probably think I've gone crazy. Well, I want to share with you a couple of examples of how you have got those traits and how you can unearth them and how you can use them, not just to push your fitness up, but push life in general and make you just not a better athlete, make you a tougher individual as well. So, a measure of fitness, a VO2 Max test. We've used it for years, decades. I talk about it a lot in my videos, and it's a good measure of how we process oxygen. So we link it with aerobic performance, therefore aerobic achievement, therefore podiums, medals, etc. Surely this person with the biggest aerobic engine who can go the fastest, furthest is going to be the champion. Well, let me share you a couple of stories and let me use the VO2 Max test and get you to think and maybe even comment and answer, but get you thinking deeply about your own traits and how you can maybe unearth something new. I want to take you back. So the year's 2012. There's an 18-year-old kid from Norway and he's going to Lillehammer Lab to do a VO2 Max test. Now he's been doing them since he was 15 years old when he jumped across from skiing to cycling. And in 2 weeks' time from the test, he's going to compete in the World Junior Time Trial Championships. Anyway, he does the test and the scientists dismantle the machinery afterwards and they send it back to the company and they say that it's broken and it needs recalibrated. Because this kid, Oscar Svendsen, has just broke the world record and he's achieved a score of 96.7 millilitres per kilogram per minute. It beats the previous record of 96.0, held by another Norwegian, a very famous cross-country skier, Bjorn Dahle. And we'll come back to Bjorn in a second, but let's focus on Oscar. Incredible score. Oscar's been tested since he was in 15. In fact, his very first test was 74.6. Now let's look at the average for males 40 to 45 across the population. As an untrained teenager, this is a score of an international athlete in their prime. We know scores of Greg LeMond at 92, Armstrong at 84, 85, Froome the same, last year's Tour de France winner, they're now 90. So this kid, surely the potential to set the world on fire, and he goes about dismantling the junior racers in the time trial championships 2 weeks later. He then goes on through the season and then tests again at the end of the season, being about 5 pounds heavier, but he still tests 92.8. This kid has got not only a high VO2 max, but from his earlier tests untrained to his trained score, he shows that he's got a trainable VO2 max. Now that might sound surprising to you. Surely everybody's got that. Not to those levels. It's a genetic trait. This kid had everything. So where is he now? Well, surely as having that VO2 max, Scott, you're going to tell me that he's became a world champion, Olympic champion. Neither. Oscar dropped into what we call the under-23 pro game and he rode for a Norwegian team called Joker. He didn't get any wins. He was part of a team time trial that got a win, but he didn't get any individual wins. He made the podium of these national championships time trial, but he didn't take the gold medal. And by 2014, he'd taken a break from cycling. A break from cycling around about the same time I was working with the Team Ghana athletes at the Commonwealth Games, and I used his score and his situation as an example that I'm going to share with you guys now. And I'm going to use the previous world record holder, Bjorn Dahle, 90.0. He went on to win multiple Olympic medals, multiple world championships. He had 8 gold medals at the Olympic Games, 9 world championships goals. In fact, he had 46 wins in his career. Now here's something interesting about Bjorn. He didn't have a big junior career. He wasn't at the top of the podiums as a junior. He starts to progress. Now he has all these multiple wins. He retires. He has a clothing industry, fashion and real estate. I think his company was listed at £500 million last time I looked. So here's a guy that not only performs well at sport, but performs well in life. So what happened to Oscar? 2014, he takes up running. He doesn't return to cycling. He goes back to university and he starts studying psychology. And he has a famous line where he identifies talent, and he describes talent as being here, being in your head. And this is what I want you to think about. Many athletes I see and work with and hear stories from, they're fascinated by pushing the physical barriers, pushing them as far as they can, unknown to some of them that they may have a very small window of trainability. But the biggest gains they can make are in here. So I ask you this, where is winning and losing? Where is that line? Is it physical, 50%? Or is it mindset, 50%? Or is it more mindset? Because you can argue all day long that having the VO2 max of a rhinoceros, an elephant, is not going to get you far, because there's the world record holder, 96.7. It's quite a staggering volume of oxygen he had available. What makes an athlete a champion? Because it has to go more than just the physical. It has to go into the mindset. So in elite sport, we're always focusing on mindset training, that focus, the commitment, the resilience. So when I talk about resilience, I see it time and time again. Athletes who quit, they give up. Failure is not something that should be seen in any other light than the first step to success. The closer you get to success, the more often you will fail. And when you finally succeed, you're so close to failure that you don't know. If you look at history and you look at the champions who have risen to the top and been there for a small fleeting time, and compare them with the champions who've been there for years, year in, year out. Every sport throws up these champions that dominate. They dominate so much that the public turn against them because they want to see someone knock them off their mantle. What is it about them? Well, one thing is resilience. Never giving up, but accepting failure, accepting feedback. So think of yourself, how resilient are you? Last time that something didn't go your well, maybe it was at work, maybe it was in the family. How did you cope? Did you have the ability to be calm, deal with the situation, create a solution and move on? Or do you just panic, as we say in my country, throw the toys out the pram and give up? But maybe you've got that resilience. What about your commitment? How committed are you at staying true to a project, getting it done? Or do you get halfway through a difficult project and you give up? You just think there is no solution, I cannot find it, I'll give it to someone else. Having these abilities is what a champion has. I reckon everybody's got at least one of them. Yes, sure, we've all got motivation, but how committed is that motivation over a long period of time? Yes, sure, you'll start a diet. Yes, sure, you'll start a fitness program. But what do you do when the going gets tough? What's your resilience like? Now, if you've got these traits, you have got an opportunity to be a winner. It doesn't matter about getting to the top of a podium. When I say winner, I mean you get to the end of that journey. So if you set yourself a goal and you visualize that you can see that goal and you can see yourself achieving it, you will get there. I don't care what your fitness level is like, you will claw over people to get there because you have what it takes. It's easy to look at Oscar and say he had a world of talents. He had everything at his disposal with that VO2 Max. He just didn't want it enough. Now that's not fair and that's not true because we don't know cognitively what was going through his head. There's a saying we have in sport. If you can suffer more than the next person, then you will win. I can show you endless lists of VO2 Max tests from marathon runners, endurance cyclists, and the one that's got the highest is not always the one that crosses the finishing line first. Why don't you Google Oscar? Why don't you Google Bjorn? Have a look at them. Have a think about what I've said about developing all physical attributes. How much time do you spend developing your mental attributes? Can you do it? Of course you can do it. So I promised you a little hack, a little tip, how you can work out who you are. Do a simple personality test. Yeah, I'll put one in the link below. Just take it. And when you do it, compare yourself to celebrities and see what similarities are, but then work through it and try and identify, yeah, that's me. That's me. Work out your strengths and try and maximize them. Don't worry about areas whereby you're weak, but they will give you answers to maybe why your resilience is lower, your commitment changes, your motivation spikes. But look at it and try and work out a plan where you can add that into your training. It works every time. So don't be fooled by physical fitness. If you're as tough as what you think you are, you'll make it. Hey, I'll see you in the next video. And remember, anyone can train hard, but there's only a few of us can train smart.